In the quiet blue glow of a hospital ICU, a man's failing heart is replaced by a humming mechanical beast, and his family whispers, "Is he still himself now?" When humans begin to merge with machines, where does the soul go? Does it flicker behind glass and code, or does it vanish, trembling at the edge of what we think makes us human? For centuries, the soul has been an anchor, defining us as more than tissue and synapses. Plato spoke of it as a charioteer, guiding our impulses towards something eternal. Augustine believed it to be the breath of God, shining through imperfect clay. We have always wrestled with the invisible thing, something precious, mysterious, not quite confined to the body, yet somehow indivisible from it. But then, the world turned, and we entered a digital age. The questions that once belonged to poets and priests, what is the human? Where does the soul dwell, have become sharp dilemmas for engineers and neurologists. When we slip microchips into our brains to restore memory or link prosthetic limbs to neural circuits, we do not simply extend the flesh, we redraw the boundaries of personhood. Consider the case of the so-called cyborg in our midst. Neil Harbison, who was born completely colorblind, has an antenna implanted into his skull. It translates colors into musical notes through bone conduction, allowing him a new sense. He hears the spectra of the world. He is not less human for his augmentation, nor simply a machine. He describes his identity as a cyborg, yet wonders aloud if that word captures his experience, or simply pushes the paradox further into the future. When you meet him, do you look into his eyes, or at the technology sprouting from his head? Where, now, is the soul? Is it diluted by each merger, or does it persist, stubborn as ever, behind the gleaming hardware? In these moments, ancient anxieties resurface. The myths of Icarus, who flew too near the sun, undone by his own inventions, or the golem, animated mud capable of both serving and threatening its creators, echo today with a modern vocabulary. Are we, by merging silicon and synapse, in danger of hubris, of ascending so far beyond nature that we lose what made us soulful in the first place? Or are we merely expressing what humans have always done, adapting, renewing, refusing boundaries? In medical ethics, this tension is sharpest. Imagine a child who can see for the first time through retinal implants, or an accident victim whose lost limb is replaced by a robotic arm responsive to thought. What would it mean to suggest their soul is less whole, their humanity fractured? Yet some worry that each merger with machines chips away at a vital mystery, that if we become more editable, more upgradable, we surrender not just privacy, but the dignified limits that have defined human struggle. If your memory can be wiped with a keystroke, or your emotions tuned by algorithm, can you still call the experience of living a sacred journey? The philosopher Hubert Dreyfus warned that something about skill, passion, and meaning derives from limitation, from bodies that tire, minds that forget and surprise themselves. To erase all boundaries might be to erase precisely what conscience, growth, and grace depend upon. But religions, too, evolve. The Catholic Church once trembled at the thought of heart transplants, now it blesses organ donors as vessels of hope. Buddhist teachings remind us that the self is not a static entity, but a fluctuating current, a pattern of consciousness, not a thing enshrined behind the bone. Might the soul, then, be less a precious artifact to defend, and more a process, a river that flows through flesh and wire alike? When a man with ALS speaks through a synthetic voice, or a dancer moves on carbon fiber limbs, is the miracle less magnificent, or simply changed? The future does not offer simple answers. What it promises, instead, is 1,000 new mirrors. Each upgrade, each fusion, will reflect what we yearn to protect and what we are willing to transform. Perhaps the real question is not where the soul goes, but whether we are prepared to attend to its presence, regardless of the casing. The soul may be fragile, but it is also fierce, burning through silicon and steel as surely as through the singing blood of our ancestors. One day, there may be a human whose memories are cloud archived, whose consciousness flows through artificial circuits, whose body is as much invention as inheritance. When you meet her in the twilight of some future city, will you look for the soul in her eyes, in her story, in her longing? Maybe what matters is not whether the soul survives machinery, but whether we remember to recognize it, wherever and however it burns.